Hey, Brickroad, why don't you answer your goddamn phone? Alright, fine, don't yell at me. Welcome to Kero Blaster. This Let's Play is going to start with a litany of apologies. I owe you guys so many apologies. So, first of all, Kero Blaster is a great game. We're going to have a lot of fun with this game. It's also incredibly hard. I had to practice this game quite a bit before I got good enough at it that I decided the Let's Play would be able to go forward. And I must have accidentally said that it was my first time playing Kero Blaster. Like, it asks you if it's your first time. And I said yes. It's not my first time. I've played this game a dozen times in preparation for this Let's Play over the course of a couple months. So, the first apology I owe you guys is that I know that the YouTube channel has lain somewhat fallow for the past month or so, pretty much since around mid-December-ish, since Christmas or so. Computer broke down, had to swap out some parts for it, get the work computer back up and running, and I was so far behind on my Salute the Flump archives that I decided to buckle down and get caught up on that, and that took several weeks. So there was a period of a couple weeks where I wasn't able to just process any YouTube videos, and that's why the Final Fantasy Let's Plays kind of went quiet for a little bit. That's the first apology I owe you guys. I tried to not allow that to happen for long spans of time, but alas, sometimes it does. But I owe you guys a second apology in that this Let's Play series, I didn't select this game to play. I think I would have eventually. This game has been on my to-do list ever since, I first saw the videos of it years and years ago. This game is developed by Studio Pixel, which, not really a studio, just one guy named Pixel. One insane Japanese man who made Cave Story, which is one of my favorite indie games. But I just hadn't gotten around to playing Kero Blaster yet. This isn't a, adventure game like Cave Story. It doesn't have the same kind of charming plotline and character developments. This is more of a straight-up Mega Man kind of game. As you can see, my little frogman has this terrible pea shooter gun, which we're going to try to take care of in short order. But yeah, I did not choose this Let's Play. This one was suggested to me from time to time. I do Let's Play suggestions, typically based on Patreon supporters. I have a $50 tier Patreon support level. If you support me at $50 and your check actually clears, I let you select the Let's Play for the channel. We've done several excellent Let's Plays like that. We've done Parasite Eve 2, we've done Metal Gear Solid 3, we've done Clash at Demon Head. It's another personal favorite. But the selection of Kero Blaster was not from a Patreon supporter. It was from a contest winner that you guys didn't even know I had a contest, did you? But yes, I had a contest. It was a secret contest that nobody knew about, and somebody actually won. So now I can finally tell the story of that contest. So back in the Guacamelee series, Guacamelee is another indie platformer game that I played recently, and there was a hilarious episode of that Let's Play where Juan jumps into a portal and exits a portal and kind of goes to this just portal loop where he just falls endlessly. And I let it record for just 20 minutes and didn't say anything. And I put up an episode of Guacamelee that was literally just Juan falling through portals endlessly. And you thought it was just a gag. You thought it was just, oh, Brickroad being silly, whatever. And after 10 seconds, you stopped watching the video and went and did something else. And you were correct to do so, because the whole video was just 20 minutes of that, and the next video picked up the actual Let's Play where it left off. But if you had watched the entire video, if you actually had sat there and watched, you would have seen, periodically, letters would appear on the background tiles of... I gotta go to the secret passage down here. Where am I going? You would have seen little letters appear over the course of the video. I don't know, 9 or 10 letters. And if you took all those letters and put them into a character string, and then appended them to a YouTube URL, it took you to a secret video that said the first person to comment on this video gets to choose a Let's Play. And the first person to comment on that video... Now, first of all, I thought this was going to take a minute. I put that up, and I thought, for sure, this might sit here for months until somebody actually finds it. and I thought it was going to be one of my like hardcore viewers. I've got some viewers, and I love all of my viewers, but I love some of you more than others, because some of you watch every single video, some of you leave comments on every single video, some of you are Patreon supporters, some of you are active in my Twitch stream. As a content creator, it's easy to get locked into this, oh, my viewership consists of those people who comment the most, or who are the loudest, or who support the most. And it's easy to fall into that trap, because if you're just a lurker, if you just watch the videos and don't comment, or if you watch the Twitch streams but don't talk in the chat, it's easy for me to miss you. Not from maliciousness, like I said, I still love you very dearly, but if you're not visible to me, it's easy for me to get locked into this mindset of, oh, I have a pretty good idea who my supporters are. So I did this little secret contest, knowing in the back of my mind, the winner's gonna be one of probably 6 people that I know watch all of my videos religiously and will leave me a lot of comments or come by the Twitch stream or whatever. So I thought the contest was kinda safe. Like, I know one of these 6 or 8 people was gonna win it, but I figured it would take a little while. I figured it would be, like, when people go back to watch the Guacamelee Let's Play for the 2nd or 3rd time, then they'll actually sit there and like, well, I wonder if there's something in it, and then they'll find it. I figured it would take a few months. Nope! 1 day! That secret video is up for 1 day, and a person that I had never heard of, the Goggles Do Nothing, who must be a viewer of mine who's watched a lot of my stuff, to sit here and watch this entire boring Guacamelee video of just falling endlessly. It took 1 day for this person to comment on the video, and God bless you, sir. I'm glad you're here. And after we got the YouTube private messages sorted out, he's like, hey man, why don't you play Kero Blaster? And I'm like, sweet. So that's where the Kero Blaster Let's Play came from, was this contest. And I gotta admit, at first, I was really anxious, because the winner of the contest was somebody I'd never heard of before. It must have been a lurker of the channel, and so I kind of learned something about my audience. I kind of learned, like, you don't underestimate the lurkers. You can't. They're there. They're watching. You know they're watching, because you see how many views a video gets, or you see how many people are actively watching a Twitch stream or whatever. And I'm a professional lurker myself. I almost never engage with content creators on YouTube or Twitch or anywhere else. I am almost, like, I am chronically, pathologically shy. And speaking in a chat room where I'm not already established, where I don't already know some of the people, I don't do it very often. Once in a great, great while. But everything worked out because Mr. The Goggles Do Nothing selected Kero Blaster, a game I really was interested in playing anyway. I need to get up there and get that coin, or there we go. Yeah, a game I was very interested in playing anyway. So I downloaded it on Steam, and it hates the Steam controller for some reason. It's the only game I've ever, since I've got the Steam controller, it's the only game that I have not been able to get it to work. So I refunded it on Steam, and I bought it on PS4 instead. So this is the PS4 version of Kero Blaster. As far as I know, they're functionally identical. We're going to walk backwards on this screen. These purple birds, they come from the side of the screen you're facing. So if you're walking forwards here, they're actually very, very difficult to dodge. Little tricks like that is, you pick those up after you play through a game like this several times. So I'm going to talk about something that I don't like in Kero Blaster. The base gameplay, I think, is excellent. It's just the run and gun style. I think the floaty jumps, they take some getting used to. A lot of people don't like the floaty jumps in this game. I think they're fine. There is a learning curve to the jumps. But more or less, I think they're fine. They feel good. They take some getting used to, but you can acclimate to them. So the base gameplay of Kero Blaster I love. What I don't love so much is this having to buy all your upgrades. I think in a level-based game like this, or even even a Metroidvania, something like some of the Shantae games that are Metroidvanias, which are like all of them except Half Genie Hero, pretty much. But yeah, even like any game with like structured level content where you have to buy the upgrades, they always devolve into, if you want all the upgrades, you have to grind. And that's definitely true in Kero Blaster. There are 4 guns, and there are 2 or 3 levels of each gun that you can upgrade. And then you have to buy heart containers as you go as well. And all of these cost money. If you are new at the game and you're continuing a lot and replaying the levels, it does use an old school live system, so if you run out of lives, you have to start the level over from the beginning, but you get to keep all your money. So the first time you play the game, you'll probably upgrade all the stuff just by virtue of playing the last 2 levels over and over again, which both have a lot of money in them and are pretty much ridiculously hard. You'll see when we get here. This game's got some teeth to it. This is not a game you should take on lightly. But the trouble comes in is after you learn the game, after you've been through it a couple times, and you know how to play it, well, now you don't get to play with all the guns anymore, because there's not enough money in the game to buy all of the upgrades at every juncture. Which is too bad. So what I've done instead is I know, like, all the guns are fun to use, and I think it's a shame that we're not going to get them all, but I know what guns I want to use, most importantly on the final bosses. The final couple bosses of the game are the most difficult. I know which guns to have by that point, so I know what upgrades I'm going to buy going through the levels. But it took a few runs of the game to actually kind of route it out, to know where I wanted my gold to go and when. Not a super big deal, but I would have much preferred a Mega Man X style system where, like, the gun upgrades are just hidden in the levels and you find them. Or if there were a lot more money in the game, would also be helpful. For example, in the first level, you need to have 22 gold if you want to buy both the gun upgrade and a heart container. Pretty easy to get 22 gold if you just want to run back and forth fighting the monsters. It takes 10 minutes or so, maybe. Probably not even that. But I don't want to do that, so I have to fight that boss with 2 hearts, and sometimes I take a stupid hit. I don't know, I just don't like the gold upgrading system in this game. There is a New Game Plus option, and like I said, the game is so difficult that when you're learning it, you probably won't feel that gold crunch. And here we go into the Ox Hotel. I'm trying to get all the bad stuff out of the way first. I'm trying to think of the things about the game I don't like, so I don't dwell on them later on in the Let's Play. But there's just dreadfully little in the game that isn't really, really good. Some of the bosses I'm not a fan of. And there are some, like, individual screens in the game that are kind of unfairly difficult, like kind of like early Nintendo unfair. But I think I would say the same about any given Mega Man game, so it's kind of hard to call that a flaw. Oh, I don't like this. Okay, so this is holding down the button is you get this shot here. Okay, mashing the button, you shoot a lot faster. Like this guy here, you've got to mash, and you can kill him before he does any attacks. I don't like mashing. I'm just anti-mash in general. So, I think that's it. I think that's all the bad things in the game. I don't think we're going to get too complainy about this game outside of that. As long as this guy doesn't throw a book at me, we'll be fine. There are a lot of cheap shots in this game. There's a lot of places where you'll get shot by enemies off-screen. There's a lot of places where you'll take hits if you don't actually know the structure of the levels. But again, it's hard to really say if those are flaws in the game or not. It's a game you're supposed to learn. There are things you're supposed to engage with based on trial and error. If that's not something you're into, this is a game that I would probably not play. It's not very forgiving. It's got that old school Nintendo difficulty to it. I'll admit that back when I was learning the game, when I was playing it on Twitch, there were some moments of salt when especially in the hard mode, where I don't know how many times I had to replay that final level. If you lose all your lives and have to restart a level, you do get to keep all your money, and any bosses that you've killed in a stage will stay dead. So the game does help you out on that note, but more than that, you do not get from this game. That is all the assistance you get. So as soon as the Mr. Mole Man is dead here, we'll talk a little bit about Kero Man's moveset. Like I said, there is a learning curve to the moveset. Don't approach this as a run and gun like straight up like Mega Man. It is a run and gun, but it has some foibles to it. The first is how floaty the jumps are. And underwater, you move very slowly. It does take some getting used to. We'll just buy another heart here. Okay, we're out. I just know we don't have enough money to afford any more gun upgrades, so we're just not going to buy any at this point. Your character moonwalks. When you hold down the button, you cannot change the direction he's facing. So if you want to change the direction, you have to let off the shoot button for a second. And if you're mashing to make your shots come out faster, you can't moonwalk. Because if you're mashing, that means there are frames where you're not holding the gun button. So if you attempt to move away from whatever you're shooting, you will turn around instead. These are all mistakes you have to die in this game to learn. You just have to understand that the game punishes failure with death more often than not. And sometimes you're going to die because the movement options in the game are not as forgiving as you might expect. That being said, the high learning curve to the movement options, the moonwalking, the floaty jumps, the kind of slow and deliberate pace that Frogman takes, once you do get the moveset, it feels really good in your hands. I know I can make it out of here. You know what? We'll just take the platform. I'll just take this is the platform of failure. We'll just take it. This way I know that I won't miss the jump. So this Batman here, if I just hold the button down and shoot him, he will not die. I won't be able to do the 21 damage necessary because my shots don't come out quickly enough. But if I mash that button, son, then I can kill him. So it is a game that rewards knowledge of the game. This is a game you're meant to practice and play through several times. So I learned it on stream. If you were able to be around back when I was streaming the game, you got to see my first encounters with a lot of this stuff, especially in the hard mode, which took many hours and many retries.
Shoutouts to Treble for sponsoring this video, and to everybody who helps make my channel possible by supporting me on Patreon.